We have Rayanne dos Santos versus Talita Alencar. This is going to be a women's MMA fight. Rayanne dos Santos, 14-6. She's 4-1 in her last five. She's coming off of a decision victory. I don't think that was in the UFC though. She is 20 years old. She's fighting against Talita Alencar, 4-0-1. She's coming off a draw on the Contender Series about 2 months ago. She'll be the older fighter here at 33 years old. She does have a reach disadvantage here. I think that she has about a 3.5 reach disadvantage for this fight. Odds for this fight right now, Rayanne is going to be minus 151, and she actually opened up at a plus 125 for this fight. So she was an underdog and then flipped to a favorite throughout the course of about a week or so. Yeah, this fight is also, I think, it's going to be a little tough to cap in a way, just because there's going to be a lot of variables for this fight. I do think that Rayanne is a well-rounded fighter. She looks like she has decent movement, can bounce on the feet. She is aggressive in her offensive grappling, and she prefers to take the fight to that arena. I think that her takedowns could also use some work. However, once you're on the ground with her, she tends to overwhelm her opponents in multiple aspects. I think that she has a good mix of having good top control. She can also do some damage from top control as well with her strikes, and she can also hunt for submissions. So I think as long as she's on top, she can do pretty well. She also has solid takedown defense and can reverse positions well. So she's really live on the ground to me. In this fight, she's fighting someone who is also has a grappling background in Talita. Talita's 4-1 in 4-0 in MMA. She transitioned from MMA from BJJ grappling, I think, a couple years ago. I don't think that her takedowns are that good as well, but she will commit to takedowns and shoot the whole fight. I looked up her stats on the Dana White Contender Series, and she went 4 for 24 on takedowns in her Contender Series fight and came out with a draw. So, if nothing else, she will commit to that game of grappling and trying to get her opponent down, hopefully trying to get a sub or do some damage when she's on top. From her Contender Series fight, though, it seems like she prefers to control and then ground and pound, which is a bit surprising since she has a jiu-jitsu background. So I would assume that she would get more subs, but that could have been just because, it was probably her first fight. She was trying to get a win, which ended up with a draw. Uh, I do think that just because of her background in grappling, it leads me to believe that she is capable of getting subs if she finds the right opportunity. Given all this, I will tend to lean towards Rayanne by decision, mostly due to the fact that she just has a wealth of experience compared to Talita in MMA, right? She is 14-6. Talita is 4-0-1, so 5 fights compared to 20 fights in MMA. That's pretty stark difference there. So give me Rayanne by decision. I will probably look at the over 2.5 for potential parlays, and I believe the odds for that already dropped. So let me look at that. The over 2.5 right now is one minus 180. So I think that's a decent fair price to be able to put in a potential parlay. So yeah, that's something that I'll probably look to attack. Gerard, what are your thoughts on this fight between Dos Santos and Alencar here?
I think that Talita Alencar, obviously, I think she's undersized for the division, but a similar thing can be said about Rayanne dos Santos as well. But yeah, her last fight, she was up against a 5'6" fighter in her debut, and I don't know how well you would rate her takedowns when she did get down a 5'6" fighter being 5'1", and she pocketed two of those rounds. So you might be impressed, you might not be, but I think that in that last round, that third round, she was looking very lost in the striking department when she was tired and gassed and couldn't even try to have like quality takedowns in that fight. And Rayan dos Santos, I think she'll have a better go in the grappling. than Talita's last opponent, even though she's smaller, but she has the experience and she's she has the experience against better fighters as well on her record. And I look at the Denise Gomes fight in the striking, and in my opinion, I think Rayanne dos Santos was holding her own. And I think it was a much closer 30-27 loss than it looked. So yeah, I like Rayanne dos Santos striking. I think she would outclass Talita the longer it is on the stand up. And I think she can defend the takedown for the most part here. She is a BJJ black belt as well, so there's no there's no weakness there. So yeah, I got Rayan dos Santos here, and I'm at a medium to high confidence here. And the only reason why I'm a medium confidence is because this is women's MMA. So yeah, that's my pick. I got Ryan.
Definitely, yeah. And I think that this is going to be one of those fights where people that cap fights and then people who release the odds were going to be on opposite directions because, they pretty much opened Rayanne at plus 125 and she was instantly bet to a favorite and now she's settled into minus 151. So one side's going to be right, one side's going to be wrong. It's going to be interesting to see what happens on Saturday. And yeah, we'll definitely tune in for that one.